Alrighty guys, 2012 Dodge Durango. Now this thing came in no start, okay, just long crank time. All right, now from my understanding they done put two two fuel pumps on it, but y'all know how I feel. Now the battery was dead, so I got my jump box out there. Y'all know how I feel about fuel pumps being replaced without proper diagnosis, okay? Because get a load of this, guys. It don't matter the name of the fuel pump. It can be a name brand. Hell, it can be a Mopar no car. It can be a Derman fuel pump. None of that matters, okay? If you're not getting 12 volts in the ground to an electrical motor, which is what a fuel pump is, it's never going to run, okay? That fuel pump can be made of gold, damn it. If it ain't getting no 12 volts or ground, it simply is not going to run. Now, I don't know if that's the case or not. So I got my jump box to make sure it's on. We gonna duplicate it. Y'all know the first stage of diagnosing any problem, duplications, guys. So let's go. Now that I got 12 volts to it, well, it was kind of dead earlier, so it was just clicking. Let's see what we got here. 100 and what is that? 23,000 miles. All right, let's see. Ooh. Oh, it's run. It died. So, okay, it starts and dies. So my understanding is the other shop, Cousin Pookie them, they did a fuel pressure test. Yeah, y'all hear that? Long crank time. Now, they did a fuel pressure test. However, fuel pressure was low with the new fuel pump. Now, I'm wondering, did they check to see if 12 volts in ground was on this thing? 2012 model, that was the year that they had problems with the tip-em, guys. But there was no need to replace the tip-em because you could simply bypass the fuel pump. Yeah, here it is right here. This is the recall relay that got Ford on it? Oh my goodness. It's got a Ford relay on it. Now, a typical ISO relay is a typical ISO relay. So I'm not telling you go out and buy a Mopar relay, put it on here, it should start. No, that's not what I'm saying. Because if the relay works, the relay gonna work. Is it wired up correctly? I don't know. Now, before I get too deep off into this, what I want to do, like I say, y'all know how, at least you should know how a typical ISO relay work. Okay. Pin 30, usually this one right here. That should be 12 volts. And of course, 12 volts come from the ignition switch, maybe, when you turn the key on. I'm thinking about a starter relay, but the theory is still the same. 87 is what goes to the load. So in this case, 87 goes directly to the fuel pump. Now, what I'm going to do is go to my toolbox and get a jumper wire. I'm going to jump. First, I'm going to grab my test light, make sure pin 30 is hot. If pin 30 is not hot, guys, you may have some issues from that standpoint. It's usually protected by a fuse. And if you look right here, there's a fuse right here. So, but I want to first verify that the fuel pumps is not the problem. In other words, find a way to manually turn the fuel pump on. That's what I'm gonna do. Let me go grab my test light and a jumper wire. We're gonna do some jumpering. Y'all hold tight. All right, guys, I got my jump box. Well, I got my test light hooked up to ground right here. So what I want to find out first, let me see. Yep, it works. Like we said earlier, pin 30 should be powered. This is pin 30. Pin 30 is not powered, guys. So we likely have an open fuse. Now, I checked this fuse a minute ago and it wasn't open. In fact, you can check that while you're at it, while you got your test light. Let's see. You know what? Damn it, oh no, see. So if this is hot and this is hot, why ain't this hot? Now, so could we possibly have an issue back here? Let's see if this is hot. I'm trying to stay up in there. All right, guys, that's not hot. Okay, so we possibly could have an open between here And here, remember, this fuse is good. And it's powered because I got 12 volts on both prongs, meaning I'm getting the necessary voltage at the tipple. I'm just not making it to the relay. So maybe that's why pin 30 is not hot. Let me check this one. See, that's hot right there. So here's what I'm gonna do. Because we know that pin 87, which is right here, is the load, I'm gonna put my jumper right here, which is 12 volts, straight to 87 and see if this thing start. In fact, let's do that. All right. Oh, yeah, I saw that. I can hear bzzz, I can hear the fuel pump running. What I'm doing is manually, putting 12 volts on that pump. This car should start. All right, so you're not getting fuel pump number 3 with Mr. JT. Let's see what we got. Hey, y'all see that? So what did we learn from this? We got an open circuit. All right, because like I say, I got it jumpered. Hey, it's running, it's ticking, but it's running. All she want to know is why won't it run? All right, so I got this rig. So now we know there's nothing wrong with fuel pump number 2. And it wasn't about to get fuel pump number 3 with JT. So now my job, guys, is to simply find out why I have an open circuit from point A to point B. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think you get an updated recall. This is the old style recall. So what happens is these relay would melt and get in these prongs and ruin them. So I think, guys, don't quote me on this, there's an updated recall. Yes, because it has the bigger box that go right here. So I'm gonna have to probably drag this car to the dealership or see if I can go and get the dealer parts and put on here. All right. Yeah, that way I won't have to cut and splice into the tipple any longer. I would just put in that new recall part. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, guys. There is an updated recall. All right. It's another style relay and it's a protection box. Because y'all see how they had this laying? If I take this out, this car should stall. Yeah, see, I hear the relay clicking. I might just get my 12 volts back. So it might be intermittent. Let me see something. Nope. This car gonna die any minute now because it's using up all the fuel that was in with the jumper. So, like I say, this was just laying down here. That's not professional. Damn it. All right, so what I'm gonna do is take this to the dealership or see if the dealer will let me get the parts. I'm gonna need a repair order though. So I'll figure something. See that? It's stalling out because I'm running out of fuel because the fuel pump is no longer running because I don't have, yeah, y'all remember what we talked about earlier, right? So let me go do this. Let me go get the dealer parts. See if I can get the dealer parts. If not, we're going to have to take the dealer. I'm going to have to rig this up and drive it down to the dealership and get this recall done. All right. Yes, I have those capabilities. All right, guys, that's all I have. Well, I'll show y'all what happens when I get the relay kit. How's that? We'll talk about the relay kits. All right. Stay tuned. Well, look what we have here, guys. Yes, I was able to get the parts. The recall parts, that is. Like I say, we're going to house this new style relay. Now, I got to do the whole wiring, okay? Because it don't really matter. It's not just simple as taking this relay out. In fact, where's my new relay? Yes, guys, somebody put a freaking Ford relay on here. Yeah, could this have caused the problem? I don't know, but we getting rid of that. In fact, we getting rid of this whole thing. I just got to splice this in to the existing setup and then put this in here. That way you won't have to tuck this down here and moisture and everything can get in it. So this is a free repair. That's the only reason I'm not going to film it and show y'all about it, because it's free. Yeah, it's a recall. All right, 2011 through 2013 Jeep Grand Cherokee, Dodge Durango. All right, now all we're doing, guys, this is a fuel pump bypass relay kit. Okay, remember, there is no external fuel pump relay inside this tipple. It's integrated into the circuit board. Okay, so you just can't like pull one of these out. This is not a fuel pump relay. Neither one of these are fuel pump relays. But don't ask me why they did it that way. I do not know. I don't know what engineers are thinking. So instead of having consumers replace a potential $1,000 tipple, they came out with a kit that will basically do the same thing. remove the fuel pump relay off the circuit board and make it external. So we will now have an external relay in the form of this typical ISO relay. All right, so we just got to house it somewhere because it's too late to put it on the circuit board. Remember, the circuit board is already built. Yeah, so a lot of that is going on. What's crazy is this repair applied to a lot of models using this TIPM. This TIPM is on a lot of models. For instance, the Caravan. Yeah, this TIPM is on the 2011 through 13 Caravan, the same TIPM, but this recall did not apply to the Caravan. I don't know. If I was a Caravan owner, that would bother me. That would piss me off. It's like they care more about the Durangos and the Jeep Grand Cherokees than they do the Caravan. The Caravan sold more units, if I'm not mistaken. The soccer moms, yeah, they did their thing. So I'm gonna fix this, guys. This is what it needs. Okay, I showed y'all the diagnosis on the previous video. I'm not gonna film anymore because it's a recall. There's no sense of filming this. So if you're looking for that repair, I did a repair from scratch, similar to this on a truck. Okay, the same TIPM. Yeah, that recall do not apply to the trucks, but it's the same TIPM that may need the same type of repair. You can do this repair on any type of TIPM, you know, with that problem. However, not sure you can get this recall part. You can get a repair kit, but I'm not sure you can get this because this is, you know, reserved for all the recalls, all the recall models. All right, I got work to do. Let me get this thing fixed and this customer can get their car back. All right, I got to go. Thanks for watching.